Welcome back to another Streets video. You got Moses here again and we're doing another DIY. Right now on the screen you can see our Milk Jam event on the 25th of April and now you can see the rest of our events that we're running throughout the year. We got quite a few street jams, so make sure you get down if you can and support us. So today we're doing a wheel dye video. So these are the things that you're going to need. Something to keep the area clean, your pot, your wheels. I got another set of wheels basically just to help me pop the bearings out, and obviously a hammer and an Allen key to pop them out, and then something else to help push them out as well. Your RIT dye, which is really good. Some string to string up the wheels, so because we're doing half and half dye today. Something to hold the wheels on. Pots to put either side of the pot basically, and then also something to put them on at the end so you don't make too much noise. So right now, as you can see, I'm basically just cutting up an old grocery bag, which I'm basically using to protect the surface so that my dye doesn't decide to dye all of my kitchen surface. So yeah, so all I'm doing is pretty much cutting that up, and I'm going to lay that down. You can get somebody to help you with this if you're going to have issues cutting with it. But yeah, I mean, you could just use two bags. You don't have to actually cut the bag. But yeah, I've just put the bag down so that I don't spill any dye on the surfaces, and if I do, obviously it goes on the back. So right now I'm just sizing up exactly where these pots are going to go either side, so that obviously they don't melt, number one, and so that I can make sure that I've got my wheels sitting in the right place. So I'm going to take the bearings out of the wheels. You can obviously do this with the bearings in the wheels, but more or less likely you're probably not going to be able to use the bearings after this. So I would recommend taking your bearings out. This I find is the easiest way for me because I don't have a bearing tool. I basically just put the wheel that I want to get the bearings out of between two of my older wheels, and then basically just push to the side the bearing spacer on the inside, which you should always be running to avoid overlighting of your wheels, and then basically just tap it out with either an Allen key, a flathead screwdriver, or any other hard object that you have that can get in there. On this occasion I really struggled getting them out because they're quite a tight fit. So I decided to basically break one of the bearings and then pop the other side through. They weren't in the greatest condition anyway. I'd ridden those ones in the rain and all sorts of stuff. So yeah, so I basically popped the bearings out, got the one out, and yeah, let's get back to the kitchen. Boom, just like that. Yeah, we're there. Okay, cool. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill the kettle with water, and I'm going to boil the kettle. You don't have to do this. You can just literally fill the pot up and put water in it, and then boil the water up. But obviously I'm just trying to get the process going as quick as possible, and the water boils quicker in the kettle than it actually does in the pot. So yeah, that's what I'm doing. So I'm boiling the kettle right now, flashing lights, all sorts, blah blah blah. Yeah, turn on the hob. Let's head over to the hob now with the boiled kettle. When you're ready, you will go, but you don't want to. Yes, okay, we're good to go. Boom, turn off the kettle. Yeah, go over to the pot and we're going to pour it in. So all of that hot water in there. Now it's very hard to gauge exactly how much you need to put in, but I put in one full kettle. It probably works out to be about 3/4 of this pot. This is about a 3 litre pot that I've got there. So right now I'm basically just running some shoelace or some string you can use through the wheels at the moment, and then I'm basically tying a knot in them. So this will allow me basically to hang the wheels sort of halfway out of the pot so I can dye them. Now these wheels I've actually dyed before. As you can see, they previously were white and I dyed them half black. Well, I tried to do grey and it didn't really work, so yeah, I ended up going black. So or navy or whatever it is that the color is. You can see kind of a little bit of a gradient on there. But yeah, so the attempt is today is to get these half yellow, which is why I've obviously got the yellow RIT dye. So yeah, we're gonna basically string these up above the pot across the broken deck plate there, so that you don't have to use a deck plate. Obviously you can use a plank of wood or an old bar or anything that basically you can get to sit across the top of basically the pot, and some sort of supports on the side. So obviously I've just got some stock pots there to do that. But yeah, so we're gonna string those up like I'm doing now, so that they can sit in there roughly halfway, so that obviously the dye gets to them. Now I would not recommend doing this with wheels you have previously dyed, and you will see why a little bit later on. But yeah, so this is the main principle of it, and this is pretty much what we've got to do. So you've got to try and size it up, try and figure out roughly where it is. So right now I'm just tying just a normal bow knot at the moment, so that it's not too tight, and also if I need to make any adjustments I can move it. So I've tied that up, and then what I'll do is I'll tie the other one up, and then once they're tied up, I'll put the pot underneath and see where the wheels actually sit in the water. If they sit in the right place, then that's perfect. I did a good job first time. I'm going to try and get them roughly around the same place. And if they don't sit in the right place, then obviously I've got to try and adjust either the wheels by tightening the string, or I can just let a little bit of water out, because obviously a displacement, once you put the wheels into the water will actually rise anyway. But also remember that obviously the water's hot, so it will steam and it eventually will go down at some point. So right now I'm just adjusting the wheel placement so that they're not really touching each other too much. They're aligned quite nicely. You don't really want them touching the sides of the pot or anything, because you don't want to melt any of the rubber. The only contact you really want on the wheels is the hot water. So you've got to make sure that they're actually sitting out of the pot enough so that they're not actually touching the bottom of the pot as well. Only for this technique. If you wanted to just completely change your wheel to one complete color, then you can obviously just put your wheel in whole inside, obviously without the bearings. You'll put your wheel in whole into the pot without no strings attached whatsoever, and then you could just use tongs to remove it at a later time. But yeah, for this, obviously we're trying to do the half and half die, so you obviously don't want to tie the whole wheel, so we're just sticking in half of the wheel essentially. But yeah, one thing I would always recommend, always make sure you're trying to go to a slightly darker color than what you have got there, because you will struggle to get to a lighter color. If you've got black, you can't dye your wheels red, blue, white, green, anything like that. You can get a color remover, which does take away color from your urethane, but it doesn't really, you can't sort of go get a red one, use color remover and get it white so then you can dye it like green or something. It doesn't work like that. It will just remove color and basically brighten the color of whatever wheels you have. So if you have a red and you use the color remover RIP powder, you'll end up with something like a pinky sort of color. So at the moment I'm basically just adding in the RIP powder. So once you've got your water boiling, pretty much you want to just tear open your RIP packet, pour in the dye, try and disperse it evenly over the water basically, and then you're probably going to give it a stir. I would recommend trying to use not household utensils, because I don't think anybody's parents would be happy with that. So yeah, try find maybe an old chopstick or a barbecue skewer, something you're not using anymore, to basically stir it, and just basically make sure that all of the powder has completely stirred into the water, and that there's basically nothing left other than well, what would be for me right now yellow water, pretty much, because obviously we've got yellow. For whatever color you are doing, it should be that colored water. But yeah, you want to make sure that all of the powder is completely immersed in the water, and the water is obviously boiling. Now once you've done that, obviously you can obviously keep hold of whatever it is that you've used. I've used a plastic knife here, and the knife is melted, so I'm getting rid of the knife right now. It's gone into the bin. But yeah, make sure that your pot is in the right place over the heat. It's directly evenly over the heat, because you don't want it to boil slightly more on one side or on the other side. And it's very important when you actually add the wheels in that you don't have it boiling, you have it maybe simmering or slightly lower than that, because what can happen is the water will bubble, and when it bubbles, the dye won't sit flat on the wheel, so you won't get a nice flat line across it. You'll get bubbles, and you'll probably see a little bit later. So what I've done literally now, I've literally just made sure that they're in the right place, and literally lifted up the wheels from the deck and popped the deck with the wheels obviously in the thing, and boom, yeah, this is the finished product. Flopped, as you can see, didn't really work very well, didn't get the yellow. So yeah, spoke to Eagle and they hooked it up. Yeah, they sent us another pair of yellow wheels, so this time we're going to try and go half black. So we started the process again. Yeah, obviously it flopped the last one. It wasn't supposed to go like that, but we did the best we could. But yeah, so spoke to Eagle, they helped us out, Addict as well. They sent us another set of wheels, and this time they sent us yellow, because they didn't believe that it was going to work with us doing sort of white to yellow or whatever. So yeah, we're going to go half black this time, or half brown or whatever it is. So we've got a grey here, light grey. The idea was to try and go Proto Zach Martini style color, so we'd have like a light grey and a yellow. That's the idea. So this time I've taped them off, so then that way I've actually got a solid line across, and I'll try not to it means that if the bubbles do go up and sort of try and stain the rest of the urethane above where the line is, or the threshold that you want, it means that it will hit the metallic tape instead of hitting the urethane. So you shouldn't get any excessive stains above the line that you've created. So that's why I taped these ones off this time. But obviously I removed the bearings the same as before. So here I am again, stringing it up. I've got different string this time. I don't know why, but it doesn't matter. It serves the same purpose. So yeah, we're stringing it up, we're lining it up, and boom, here we are, we're back in again.
48 hours later.
Beautiful. Yeah, that's the one right there. As you can see, there's a little bit of spillage coming up, where obviously the bubbles have creased in, but you can see there that obviously it didn't go grey, but it's gone black and it looks beautiful. Yeah, Eagle didn't believe that we could do it, so they sent us their own version, which is still sick. They've done it the opposite way, but we love it. And here is some previous examples of ones that we have done. Super dope. Yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Hope you really like this video. Make sure you follow us, leave a subscribe, and tag us in any that you make as well, and share your photos on Instagram.